is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Vienna Connection, which, as a caveat, we should mention that at the time of this recording, we have not completed the 4 missions, because there's only 4. I want to savor the game, which is kind of a problem with all these kinds of games, is I don't want to rush through and be like, I want to play all of them, because then it's like, well, that's that. Yep. Time to throw these away. So this is Portal's newest game, set in their detective investigation system. So if you have played Detective: A Modern Crime board game, this will be familiar to you. Here, I thought it was going to be a game that was literally Detective: A Modern Crime board game, but with this as a theme for each of his cases. But I can pretty much proudly say, as I bite my tongue, proudly say that it is pretty drastically different from the Detective Modern Crime board game. I mean, obviously you have the Enter system, and you have the deck of investigator cards, but, I mean, they kind of replace the map. In Detective Modern Crime, you actually have hours of and a certain number of days you need to complete. So each card tells you, hey, this took 3 hours of your day. You work 8 to 5. So now it's 8 o'clock, now it's 11.
Right.
And you move around locations. Each move requires an hour of time. But that's kind of your track. And it's like, hey, you need to complete this case by day 4. Right. But here you do exposure. And, I mean, it is similar. Like, I'm not saying this is like a completely different game, because it's not. But it is different enough that, I mean, I think it's definitely well worth getting a copy. But what do you guys think?
I was really surprised that it didn't end the way that we are used to it ending, which is like with a bunch of questions, and we get to kind of compare our progress and see like actually how well we did. It seems like it's going to build up to not a slow burn, but like
an overall story.
Yeah, that we're going to feel like we pieced it all together. Just an extra long case, essentially.
Yeah, that is kind of
which
what
I think,
it seems like.
I think it'll be more satisfying in the end. So I like it so far. I mean, this is just definitely one of my favorite genres of game to play, is mystery, detective work, kind of figuring it out as we go.
Yes.
Kind of games.
Yes. Brett?
This is the first of this particular kind. I have played Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective before. But, so hearing the different way that they track time, essentially, which is not limited to time, but in some ways it's even more limited.
Yeah.
That's an interesting new mechanic.
Yes.
It wasn't satisfying to me, the conclusion, because it doesn't feel like it's concluded.
Yeah.
It feels like, we've accomplished something, which just is leading to more.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I mean, while I'm looking forward to it, I'm also a little bit concerned about if we don't do this on a very regular basis.
We're going to be like, what?
What details are we going to forget?
Yeah.
I assume we get to keep all of the stuff that we've already discovered. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's technically it's a file, like we just have it in our own filing cabinet in our office.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would imagine, I mean, because there's 4 missions total. If we go in and I click on like mission 2, then we go to puzzles. Yeah, then it says, be careful, agent. In this mission, there are 2 puzzles with the same number of letters. Stay focused. And then, so it looks like the puzzles do track across. So, like, the 6-letter word that began and ended with S is showing up in mission 2. Okay. Which I actually very much like that. Because and I kind of wish they would have mentioned something like that in the rule book. Because if you've played a lot of these games, you feel that each mission is a standalone thing. So you're sitting there and you're like, well, we didn't fucking get all the puzzles, so you feel like you're missing out on something.
Gotcha.
When it turns out, oh no, that it's continuing.
Yeah.
There's no score at the end. You get kind of a conclusion because it tells you, hey, the 2 things you did find, the 2 things that we found, I thought it was awesome that they told you, hey, here's what happened. Yep. Here's the efforts that you found and the repercussions of those.
Yep.
It's
and obviously we've gotten some kind of assets that we're going to be using again in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it's basically like when you it's exactly the opposite of when you get to the end of one of these games and they're like, who is XYZ? And you're like, what?
Who?
Yeah. It's basically you're finding it, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like we heard them mention, and later on you get to be like, yeah, well, that's because they blah 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 blah. They do wind up, but yeah,
right.
I think that's cool.
But I do see where Brett's coming from, where if it is connected, if you don't play this right after another, if we play this 2 months from now,
Easily
Mission
forget
2,
everything.
if Mission 2 does directly follow this, and if we're going to have to remember, wait, okay, what was he doing? That name sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
And we won't have all these cards, unless you do take all these cards out and put them into Mission 1. Which, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, you take all these operations, you take all these cards, all the files you found, just put them into Mission 1, and then if you're like, wait, okay, we heard that name before, alright, let's break out the old case. And one thing I will say that Portal does absolutely fantastic with Detective and with this one, they make it feel so thematic.
Oh, yeah.
By having all... The writing itself is just so descriptive that you feel like... Whenever I mentioned you went to the restaurant, you heard the hum of just a bunch of... It's just like, you feel like you're there. Yeah. Kat and I, for Modern Crime, there was a writing where it was describing you had your laptop, you had 2 laptops, and you had your phone, and you had coffee. And I was like, I can envision sitting there, because I do that, where it's like, oh shit, okay, my computer's taking forever, so I'm going to look it up on my phone real quick. And you feel like you're actually doing a case. Like, this is one of those games that I could feel pulling out a corkboard and putting... like pictures and string and being like
Charlie Day.
Yeah, being Charlie Day, just being like, okay, so the Rootin' gang is okay. So how are they connected? Putting in like post-it notes. Who is Einhorn? Who is Einhorn?
Yes.
Man? Question
Yeah, police officer.
Detective.
This game feels like that because one of my favorite things is actually sitting here and be like, wait, didn't something mention this? And then we're actually searching through files and being like, like, okay, it's one of these cards, and be like, here it is, okay, and then it's like, oh yeah, it said this. So now then we go on into our investigation.
Yep.
But so it'll be interesting if Mission 2 does continue on and we need to know Mission 1 information. That would be like going back to the case and opening up the file and be like, okay, let's look through this cold case and be like, okay, here's the one. Why is it wet? Okay, I don't know why it's wet, but all the ink is smeared. Fuck, that was crucial information.
If only we had a computer.
I mean, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I was worried with it being like Cold War that it was going to be incredibly dry. Because nothing happened. Nothing happened in the Cold War. It was just...
But something could have happened.
It was a huge dick measuring contest.
You didn't live through it. It was a little more tense than that.
I'm sure it was, but...
I missed the bit.
Being in 2021,
did
you get to look back and be like, yeah, nothing happened.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously...
something could have happened.
Something could have happened.
And that was the scary
part. I understand that. I mean, it was a bunch... But yeah, it was just being like, whose dick is bigger? Who's it? And a lot of espionage, which I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. But I was like, how are they going to make that interesting? Because when you say Cold War, you just... Ooh! And then, like... Then it's like you read about it and you're just like, this is boring. But I thought, I mean, Mission 1 was extremely intriguing. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, just they didn't talk about it a whole lot, but they definitely mentioned the anti-game, which is still in Russia to this day. Like, that free game, kill him,
and
kill
Germany,
him.
And
yeah, so it's interesting that they mention that, and it's like, well, was he killed for that reason? And
is it a red herring? Is it just a coincidence?
Right.
Like,
was it staged to look like that?
Yeah.
Right. And I definitely think that these games, this and Chronicles of Crime, have the perfect balance of, not necessarily railroading you, but you always feel like you're making progress.
Guiding.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's almost no wrong answer. Yeah. I feel like it's just about if you follow the right path, you're gonna get the best result.
And I don't think there's any one right path.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely better and worse options, and I think we made some pretty good choices. But it would be interesting to have a way to go back and go, if we made different choices,
Yeah.
how would it have worked out better?
Exactly.
Getting more resources right when we desperately needed them.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence, but engineered to keep things going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're on the right path.
Right. I mean, it's because, like, the Sherlock Holmes Consultant Detective, you can... I mean, we the one we did for the channel, we went way left when we needed to go right, and then you get to the end, and you're like, we got negative 50 points. We got every question wrong.
We solved a different case.
And I don't think we've ever came across that in any of the cases that we've done for a detective, or even Chronicles of Crime. Like, it's a good balance, because I mean, it's not fun at the end to be like, wow, we got all these questions wrong, we're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that on the corner, board games that tell stories, yeah, you want to be involved in the story and not be like, well, I guess I'll just read what Sherlock. How about he just reads me the story?
Why don't I just read the book? Okay.
So for this mission, we were involved the entire time. There was never anything that was like, what? Like, and I thought that actually the questions that we did get to answer, not really questions, but we actually got to make choices.
Yep.
Which obviously are in none of the other ones, because they're never connected. There's never there's no campaign.
Right.
They say that, I think in the base game, the missions do connect, but it's similar to the Sherlock Holmes where, hey, the previous newspaper has information that might be relevant here, but it's not an overarching story.
Right.
You guys have any negatives?
I personally don't right now. Not yet.
Can't think of anything.
Well, I got one.
Okay.
When the game came out,
I was
okay.
saving that for you.
Sorry.
when the game... Well, first of all, the game... if you pre-ordered the game, which this is going to be irrelevant for a lot of people, but when you pre-ordered the game, I got this copy prior.
Yep.
A week later is when it was available.
Right.
And the game's still not available to a lot of people.
Okay.
So we're playing it at this point before it's even, like, available retail.
Yeah, which that I'm confused about, because, like, did they have, like, a set, like, this all will be live date, or it's just you get your copy and then...
Well, I'm sure they had a date that they were going to support it,
Yeah.
which was the when was it? It was last Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the 21st.
21st, yeah.
It's just very weird how it's like, oh, I got my copy, perfect. So you set it all up, and then I mean, that was a big thing. Was everyone's like, where the fuck are these cases? Like, we can't find them, and nope, not till the 21st.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, whatever, I'll wait and get it the 21st, and then we ran into the bug on the website that was like, I cannot enter in. I mean, a lot of people.
Critical information.
We'll see. But that's the thing. It's not explained in the rule book. Hey, the letters
That it's not
are at least according to the one guy who commented, the letters are flavor text. The numbers indicate the ending.
Yeah. So we thought we were missing a huge thing.
Yeah, so
we
I'm
thought
sitting
we were
there
going to get docked.
Right. I thought we were going to get like, hey, a prompt. Hey, read card 180.
Right.
Now. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, well, we know what the word is. I can't enter in that letter. And then a lot of other people's issues, which we actually did end up seeing as well, was when you click save, it says, incorrect puzzle incorrect. And whenever you get an incorrect puzzle, you're supposed to mark a thing on the Man in Black.
Oh.
But what was weird is whenever I initially clicked save, it said, oh, puzzle saved correctly. And then whenever I was just fucking troubleshooting, it then started saying it was incorrect, even though I made no changes.
Gotcha.
So that was and I'll give them a pass, because that is literally the first instance that I've had any issues with their websites, or really with just apps in general.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a mishmash of, I got the game, couldn't play it. Then they finally released the cases, and then there was a bug, and then it was just kind of like you had to keep waiting to play the game.
Opening.
Yeah. And
which, for as far as like the pre-order goes, like since it is a pre-order and they just kind of got sent out, like I understand that, like everybody getting them at different times, but as long as they have like a hard start date, like for the site going live,
yeah,
that makes sense to me.
But then have it work.
Exactly. Yeah, that because then at that point
I don't give video game companies a pass. If you have a release date, have it fucking work when it releases.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that you could have done
Right.
to be like, okay, does this work on my end? No, okay, let's fix it. Like it's about to go live.
I mean, and it wasn't just, it's not like everyone was having the issues, and then eventually I just went in and I, like, clicked in it, and it still didn't give me the line to enter something, and I just typed in C, and it popped up. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess it's working. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, like, honestly.
And they did fix it,
Yeah.
but it's another frustration.
Right.
After 2 delays of really looking forward to this.
Exactly.
And like you said earlier, like it wasn't in the rule book that it's like it's just flavor text. Like
yeah, the numbers are what's
Yeah.
important. That's what gets you your ending.
because I was under the impression that like if it wasn't all filled in, we were gonna get like docked something at the end where it's like, oh well, you didn't figure out the words, so
Right.
you're not gonna get like the special whatever. Or,
Yeah.
Or it
You're
might
gonna
like
get the
detract
special
from
ending
something
or
yeah.
the campaign
Yeah.
log.
For something that like we clearly did. That's not our fault.
Yeah, that is true. I love in detective modern crime. You do have tokens that let you with certain icons that whenever you read a card, it says spend this type of token to flip it, and it gets you more information. Oh, hey, you have a computer hacker card and you found a phone. Spend that to flip it to get more information.
Right.
They did something similar here with the operations. But what I really, really liked is the operations are up front.
Yeah.
Like, here's what you have as resources based off the people you start with. And then some of them are going to be extra information. Others are just abilities that you can spend. And I thought having the operations was a really cool tie-in to kind of the theme, as well as just something new in the game. Something familiar, but new. What do you guys think of the decoder?
I mean, I didn't really use it. I just wrote everything down for you guys, so...
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a bigger part, though. I thought we were going to do it, like, a lot more. But I think that was just me and what I have an idea that a spy is, where they're constantly, like...
Right, everything's in code.
Everything's a
Every
puzzle.
card we have to decode.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't overused.
Yeah.
Fun bit of theme
Mhm.
that wasn't difficult to unlock.
Right. And if you don't want to do it, you can just hit skip the cipher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if all I'd have to do is like go to, skip the cipher and type in, 121
Okay.
and then click search, and it says X is 6 times, and it tells you exactly what the solution is.
Gotcha.
Look at that.
If you don't want to sit here and fiddle with that, or you really don't understand it, then it's like, oh, well, okay, then just go right in there. And,
That way you don't have to just be like, oh, well, okay, move on, I
Yeah.
don't get it.
which I think it's...
Or if you just want to double check yourself and check your work, like...
That's true.
Like we botched the first one.
We got everything...
We got it straightened
We
out.
got... Yeah, I missed one movement over, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And then I decoded it differently, and I got something else wrong.
Right. But I like it. I like the fact that it's not overly used.
Right.
Because
It would get tiresome.
It would get very annoying.
But again, puts you in the action feeling like you're actually a spy decoding things.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I just think that Portal Games is killing it with this theme. They've done... they have a Detective Season 1 with 3 cases. They have a signature series where they have other designers write cases for their game. The first one was... I don't remember the name, but it was written by Rob Daviau.
Okay.
You don't know who that is?
You know, Rob.
He did. He helped with Pandemic Legacy and with Matt Leacock.
Okay.
But that was set in the 80s, which was really cool. And they always find thematic ways. They have an expansion for it, which is set in L.A. L.A. crimes in the... I want to say around the same time. But, yeah, I mean... when I heard about this game, I was super stoked, because I'm like, Cold War set in with the detective system, I am down. And I imagine that they would just keep supporting it. I can't imagine it's a lot of effort to make a website. So it's like, they're going to keep using it as long as they keep telling great stories and doing great missions.
Sure.
Then, by all means. Oh, you guys got anything?
I don't think I have anything else yet. Not yet.
No, I mean, it really felt like we were straddling the line between a group crowdsourced story
Yeah.
telling. And, there's definitely a clear direction, and there's definitely, certain specific options. And being a game with game mechanics.
Right.
And I think you're right, it's got a fantastic balance.
Yeah.
And an excellent story.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, so far. I mean, it could just, after mission 1, just tank. Be like, oh no, it's bad now. They ran out of ideas, but...
We never thought anyone was going to finish mission 1.
I mean, that's the thing, though. There's only 4 missions, so it's like... I think they...
The end is in sight.
Right, yes.
The satisfaction I crave.
Well, no, yes, for you. And that would be interesting if they continued with the... excuse me. With just the suggestions or the puzzles that we figure out. Mm-hmm. And if by the end our final report of Mission 4 is just an overarching of how well we did, or if we do ever answer questions similar to how the other ones are, which I would just prefer, hey, here's your epilogue. Here's what you guys found as a group. Yeah. And that leads to, I mean, not really replayability. I mean, you could kind of go through it and be like, we didn't do this last time, so let's try it. Yeah. But I think it kind of leads more to, well, I'm like I've played it, but I'm gonna play it with 2 other people who haven't.
Right.
And I'll kind of help,
not guide them.
And not be like, do this, like to see what they do, and then be that resource. Oh, where should we go? All right, well, here's what we did. Yeah.
Or you could watch people playthroughs.
Yeah.
Well, you've played it yourself. Now you see how other people do it. That's
true. That is very true. So I actually kind of would enjoy not answering questions. Yeah. Just being like, based off the puzzles and the actual research we got, this is what it tells us that happens. Mm-hmm. And here's our epilogue at the end of 4 based off of all the puzzles that we solved. And the next missions do add different puzzles. It's not just the same ones through all 4. So, and then we're going to get recordings, which at least we didn't find any in Mission 1. Yeah. So, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually really liked the exposure a lot more than the time. It gave you lots of ways to mitigate, and you actually had some open information. Hey, let's go here, because we have open spaces in the white zone. Right. So, unlike the other one where it's like, well, let's go to the lab. That's going to take 1 hour. We don't know how long it's going to take. 6 hours? Well, that's your whole day gone. And you're like, well, we have to solve it in 3 days. We only looked at 1 card. I felt like you actually had a lot more, like you mentioned, flexibility, but not at the same time. Because once you're out, you're just like, well, every other further lead is white zone, and it's all filled up, so... Oh, wait, but then we can do this operation that makes it go... We can distract them, so now they're going to go to the yellow zone.
Yeah, that was a fun mechanic to throw in.
So, I'm ecstatic. This one was great. I mean, I was kind of worried when the website wasn't working immediately, but...
You weren't worried. You were pissed.
Well, both, yes.
It became a bit frustrating.
Well, I was pissed, but then I was like, oh, shit. Well, because, I mean, we just fucking played another shitty app game. Yeah. And I was like, is that just going to be this year? Every game I was excited for is just going to be garbage.
Great.
Yes, it is.
Nope. This one is fantastic. Garbage. So, with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you guys at?
I want to give it right now. I'm going to give it a
3.
I'm going to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 9 right now.
Awesome, Brett.
So far, looking forward, I'll say 10.
10? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I am with Kat on a 9. Gotta give him that initial doc for website not working. No one gets a pass. No one gets a pass. And the weird, just me getting the copy, not being able to play it. This is kind of stupid.
That's how the mail works.
Don't release the game when it's not. Just don't release it yet. Just wait till after the 21st.
Because then the site would be live and people would be like, "Where's my game?"
I don't think so. I don't think people are going to the OnTears database website.
Where's your game?
I think I think they only go to the website when they have the game.
I don't know. You'd be very fucking surprised.
You know, true. People who just, they have this as their opening, they open
Yeah.
Chrome and it's their
Yeah.
homepage.
I'd play that, but my game's not in the mail, so.
Right. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. So that's our thoughts on the Vienna Connection. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.